Hello, everybody. I'm Joe Joseph, and this is your dailysheeple.com daily news update. And oh boy, what a treasure trove of stuff that came out about Hillary Clinton today. And I just love to talk about Hillary Clinton. So we're going to start and really dive into Hillary Clinton, because I know everybody out there loves a good Hillary bash. So let's just get started, shall we? And we're going to start today with one of our own articles over at the Daily Sheeple. This actually was mirrored. It's the market ticker that is the original source. Carl Denninger put this out. Busted. Hillary and Chicago Trump event rioter. You see, folks, this is one of the best things to come out of this election so far, is the fact that it really gives credence to what Mark Twain said, that if elections were legit, they'd be illegal. And it's true. They're not legit. It's the illusion of choice. That's what you're given. But in reality, they're fixed. They've been fixed for a long time. And if you couldn't tell that by, say, the 2008 election where Ron Paul got, and then 2012 where he really got, well, then, I don't know what else to tell you. And all the people out there that like Donald Trump, well, they're learning firsthand just how corrupt things are, especially when it comes to the Clinton machine. And this article here says, oh my, the FEC documents are great, because somebody posted them to Reddit. And it says, so what do we have here? It appears that the woman from O'Keefe's video, who states on camera that she was one of the people who shut down Trump's Chicago rally, was directly paid by the Hillary Clinton campaign. He goes on to say that FEC records are a biatch. And there's a payroll and phone record in there that appears to be for this same woman. And here's her name, unique enough that he says, I'm willing to bet there's only one of her. And this appears to be clear federal documentary evidence that Hillary and her campaign paid protesters less than 2 weeks before they engaged in a violent demonstration that not only obstructed Trump's rally, but it resulted in both property damage and personal injury to police officers. Now, we have to ask, how's that not flatly illegal? And how can we have a nation with an alleged political process where a candidate appears to pay protesters to commit violent acts to silence their opponent, and then knowingly lies about what happened, claiming they said the violence was organic and a result of their opponent's positions, when in fact they actually paid the protesters to be there and prevent their opponent from holding his rally through violent protest, which, he says, involved not only property damage, but personal injuries to police officers as well. So, why isn't Hillary Clinton under indictment right now for what appears to be a clear act of obstruction of the democratic process and direct incitement of violence, for which the instigator appears to have been paid directly by Hillary Clinton's campaign? That's a very good question, because the emails weren't enough, right? And this isn't enough. But let's see what else we can find in the grab bag for Hillary, because The Intercept is reporting that WikiLeaks prove the coordination between Clinton and her campaign and the super PACs, which, by the way, are illegal to do. The super PACs are supposed to be totally independent of the campaign. And it says, the fact that the political candidates are closely coordinating with friendly super PACs, making a mockery of the central tenet of the Supreme Court's 2010 Citizens United decision, is one of the biggest open secrets in Washington. Super PACs are only allowed to accept unlimited contributions on the condition that the money is spent independently of specific campaigns. And the FEC hasn't reacted for a variety of reasons, including a lack of hard evidence, vague rules, and a partisan divide among the commissioners so bitter that they can't agree to investigate obvious crimes. But newly disclosed campaign documents published by WikiLeaks and a hacker who calls himself Guccifer 2.0 reveals in stark terms how Hillary Clinton's staffers made super PACs an integral part of her campaign. And just think about that for a second. Think about the resources that these super PACs have. Again, there is no limit to what people can contribute to these super PACs. But the rules are that they have to be independent of the candidate's campaign. They cannot act in cahoots with one another. And it says, consider this. In a July 2015 memo addressed to Clinton herself, her campaign laid out plans for working with the Democratic National Committee and, correct the record, a super PAC. Correct the Record was created by David Brock, a longtime Clinton ally and the founder of Media Matters for America. One section of the memo instructed work with CTR and DNC to publicize specific GOP candidate vulnerabilities. In October 2015, several Clinton staffers strategized over what to attack author Ed Klein for apparently and attributing the apparently fake quote to former Bill Clinton in his book. Again, direct coordination, something that is totally and completely illegal. And there are plenty of more examples. Check it out on The Intercept, and it'll blow your mind. But wait, there's more. And this is my favorite, because we always remember as kids going to the supermarket, and when you're in line, what was the magazine that your mom always went to grab and read while she was waiting in line to put those groceries on the conveyor belt? Well, it was the National Enquirer. And wouldn't you know it, they have a front page story on Drudge today. I never thought I'd see the day. But it's about Hillary Clinton, and so we'll have to just cover it. And this one says, Hillary fixer breaks ranks, saying that he arranged sex trysts for her with men and women. Go figure. The stunning revelations of a Clinton bagman. It says Hillary Clinton is a secret sex freak who paid fixers to set up illicit romps with both men and women. That blockbuster revelation from a former Clinton family operative who is sensationally breaking ranks with his one-time boss to speak to the National Enquirer in a bombshell 9-page cover story that hits newsstands tomorrow. It says, I arranged a meeting for Hillary and a woman in an exclusive Beverly Hills hotel. The man, who was hired by the Clintons via a Hollywood executive to cover up their scandals, told the Enquirer. She had come to the studio to see the filming of a movie in 1994. And while I was there, I helped her slip out of the back exit for a one-on-one session with another woman. It was made to look casual, leaving quietly, rather than being caught up in the melee. But really, it was something presumably more sordid. Looks like Billy Boy isn't the only one with some fetishes, should we say. Now, what more? It wasn't just Hillary's fling with women that was shadowy. Why, Mr. Fix also helped orchestrate it. Hillary's former bagman finally confessed to the Enquirer just how he helped her to cover up her affair with married lover Vince Foster. Of course, we know that Vince Foster ended up having a very bad accident. Actually, it wasn't an accident. He committed suicide. Yeah, isn't that interesting? So now all this is coming out too. This shadowy figure, who provided proof of his employment for the Clintons, also reveals 12 fixes he covered up, including how Hillary secretly plotted to counterattack on Bill's mistress, Monica Lewinsky, via a document buried for 2 decades. Oh, that should be a good one. And what crooked reporters were on the take from the Clinton camp, and how he covered up Bill's seedy romp with hookers. Oh, man, this is getting good. And which A-list celebrities had a secret affair with Bill during his presidency. And in a bombshell expose, the Enquirer will reveal the fixer's dossier of smoking gun proof, including 24 years of documents, notes, and journals. And he also tells his confessions of a Clinton bagman story in his own words for the very first time. Guys, I mean, this is something, I can't wait for this to come out. I mean, this is good because, hey, it's about the Clintons. And, of course, there's so many people out there that I can't believe at this point would vote for Hillary Clinton. And they're probably all dead people or fake people but they're certainly in the millions. I think down in Texas, they found 4 million dead people registered. It started a big conundrum down there, and they're investigating it. But the fact remains that, election corruption has gone back as far as elections have happened. But you would think with today's technology that we might have a little better handlehold on things. And yet, here we are today with an outright expose of just how fixed and just how corrupt the elections are and just how dirty everything is. It's dirty. And say what you will about Trump, say what you will about Gary Johnson or Jill Stein. They are fighting such a tremendous uphill battle in the fight against the Clinton machine that you just need overwhelming numbers to be able to steamroll her operation. And I don't know. I don't know what that's going to entail. A lot of people think Trump is the answer. If you take a look at pre-World War II Germany and how Hitler rose to power, Trump fits the mold. I'm not calling him Hitler, but I'm certainly calling him that nationalist socialist footprint, that blueprint that he's talking about. A lot of the talking points are what Hitler hit on too, that helped him rise to power. So it's very interesting there. I want to continue on to shtfplan.com. They had a great article, The End State, 5 triggering events that would place the U.S. under martial law. And this is very interesting. This was an article originally published by Jeremiah Johnson and Tess Pennington's ReadyNutrition.com. Go check that out because that's an awesome site. So they give five triggering events. And it starts out, as you probably well aware, the Obama administration would like nothing more than to place the United States under martial law. And once that's accomplished, why, the country and people would be locked down and kept under the control on the pretext of continuing with the government and or maintaining national security of the United States. So here's 5. The first one, an economic meltdown. Now, over the course of this past year, we've seen a tremendous amount of volatility in trade and the U.S. domestic manufacturing base. And as our fragile economy is based on 75% of consumer spending, any significant downturn that the shoppers at home feel can also lead to disastrous reports. Lower consumer spending means people don't buy goods and services beyond the absolute essentials. And worse, they hoard money and withdraw their funds from banks, which we found out with the Deutsche Bank meltdown that's going on. They have $16 trillion in assets and $162 trillion in liabilities. 10-1. Fractional reserve banking. It is the cornerstone of central banking in the world. Number 2, we got cyber attack. That could take everything down, right? This one's definitely one of the administration's favorites. We've been seeing signs of this with the DHS and the Director of National Intelligence letters and statements that the Russian government is hacking into the American electoral and the election process. And the targeting of the DNC emails was assigned to the Russians, those naughty Russians. And officially, the Russian government, of course, has been accused by the administration of such and trying to influence the presidential race as late as Friday. And we also saw on September 7th, 2 days before the 5th North Korean nuclear test, the corporation based in California that monitors North Korean missile launches and nuclear testing was hacked into. A denial of service was placed into their computer systems, preventing them from uploading satellite feeds and photos that would have enabled them to monitor the North Korean launch. And that corporation is the Project on Crowdsourced Satellite Imagery. That's pretty interesting. Wired.com had an article on that entitled DOS Attack Crashes Website Monitoring North Korean Nuclear Test Site. Check that out. So if other governments can crash our internet and servers, don't you think it's possible for the U.S. government, as directed by the Obama administration, to crash our own servers? I mean, William Binney has come out. He was a CIA whistleblower. or an NSA whistleblower, pardon me. He came out and said, it's not the Russians. It's our own government that's doing it. He knows it, and I think we all know it, deep down inside. Look, Russia has their own interest. They also have their own problems. United States, we have our own interest. We also have our own problems. Our main problem being we have a government that's run amok, and we need to rein it in. Number 3, an unforeseeable black swan event. This is interesting. As of last week, Obama just signed the executive order entitled Executive Order Coordinating Events or Efforts to Prepare the Nation for Space Weather Events. Such an executive order could cover meteor strikes, coronal mass ejections from the sun, a comet, or any other space anomaly. Not a big deal, you might think, but it's a big deal because here's the bottom line. Who is to prevent Obama from either causing another nation to launch an EMP pulse weapon or launching one of his own and taking down the grid and subsequently blaming it on a CME, courtesy of the sun? Think about that for a second. How many satellites are floating up in space? How many of them do you think have nuclear-tipped weapons or something like that? They're up there. They're up there. Of course, number 4 plays into that. We could just have nuclear war or an EMP attack. And any day we could have that. North Korea, Iran, China, Russia. You know, because these countries are bound by treaty, and because we're bound by treaty to protect other countries, we have a World War I scenario unfolding before our eyes. And it would be very easy for this to go hot. And it could very well go hot. Me personally, I'm of the opinion that it takes a special sort of someone to push the red button. And I just don't know who has the cojones out there to do it. There may be people that do, but I'm hoping and praying that there aren't. So, number 4, certainly, on the table. And finally, number 5, a viral or bacterial pandemic. How often do we see planes flying overhead, laying trails, right? Look up NASA Global Dimming Program. You can look up the ARM under the Department of Energy. That is basically the chemtrail program is run by the Department of Energy, and there's a government site dedicated to measuring the aerosol content of the atmosphere. It's called the ARM. Check it out. But it says either naturally occurring or man-made, the CDC just inherited a tremendous amount of police power over the summer regarding their newfound ability to quarantine individuals or large groups of people on the suspicion of contamination and communicability regarding viral or bacterial pathogens related to a potential or real pandemic. This is not out of the realm of possibility. And it doesn't. Look at Zika. The Zika scare. There's a lot of evidence to say that Zika isn't a problem at all, that it actually has to do with pesticides. But they're using it as a convenient excuse to throw the scare tactic out there to rein control over certain areas of the country and population. And who's to say they can't do that with something else? You see, all of this stuff is in play. Any one of which of these could lead to either a regional or national martial law scenario. And it's things that we have to think about and prepare for as we enter a very volatile election month. I mean, it's just around the corner. You know, who's to say if Trump wins, oh, it was hacked. We got to go back and invalidate it. You can have a lot of pissed off people. You know, these are things to consider in the days and weeks coming ahead because, I think it's going to get exciting. And hopefully we'll have more Hillary news coming up, too. This has been your daily update, your daily news update by thedailysheeple.com. Like us on Facebook and subscribe to this YouTube channel today. And have a great day, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.